Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome. Get this camera fixed. Oh my goodness. Fix the... Okay. Someday we'll get this. Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And oh my God, I had to move all my stuff back to my office. And now it is disorganized. Everything is a mess. Okay. Hi, how are you? I hope you're well. Tried to start the stream on time today, although... Are we... Okay. My monitor was tilted. Everything is a disaster. So, Drexel has departed. He was here for a week, which was great. Lots of fun. We had lots of Drexel streams, but that means that the normal sort of pace of content was a little bit different, we'll say. And I know for some people, you never can actually tell. Are you kidding? Oh my goodness. Well, this is gonna be different. Hold on one second. I need to maybe do something here. I might not have the ability to get the Keemstar document. We'll see if I can do that real quick. This one. Oh my gosh. May need to... This could change. No, oh my God. This could make the stream a little different, but we'll figure it out in just a moment. See if I can get this done. I don't know if that's actually going to work. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Stupid pacer, man. Stupid pacer. Okay, we are going to talk about some different things today. Oh, what I was going to say is, I know that Drexel is not everybody's favorite, but a lot of people also like him. So, it's just one aspect of the show. He was on vacation and decided to come bring his child out and spend that time with our family, and graciously join me on several shows. So I hope you do enjoy them when we have them. But that, of course, like I was saying, kind of pushes things back a little bit. And the show content is a little bit different when Drexel's on, because he's not deeply embedded in some of these lawsuits, right? He doesn't care who Keemstar is or who Nico Lacoste is outside of the details. He's not a lawyer, so it's kind of not the most interesting thing for him to slog through. But for us, that's part of why we're here. So that said, tonight we've got this Keemstar update is the big thing. We've got that coming. We've got an update on Lucas Gerhard, which I'll just talk about in a little bit. It's not anything... I don't have a document for you, but I'll probably recap that case a little bit so people know what I'm talking about. And then we'll talk about what's going on. And then we may just cover some other little general things. The country's still on fire. We've got some new information in the Ahmaud Arbery case. A little bit of new information, I should say. Not a ton, but some things that might change how it might change how the case plays out. We can talk about that a little bit. And then the Flynn case is doing some weird stuff, but not too weird. I mean, that whole case is strange, but it's what's going on is only a little bit strange. So we'll talk about that. And then coming up on shows, I'm not sure if I'm doing shows over the weekend. I may do one either Saturday or Sunday because we didn't do one on Thursday. But I'm not positive. We're going to have a Russell Greer stream one way or another, even if it's just me yelling about it. I've got the access to Russell Greer's new lawsuit against Taylor Swift. So we're going to talk about that. It's similar to the old lawsuit, but he's got some new theories coming in. And it just goes to show you that if you are insane, you'll keep doing the same thing in slightly different ways, hoping that that'll be just enough to get your harebrained theory off the ground. But along with that will be a review of the long-awaited documents relating to Russell Greer's high school arrest. The high school arrest of Russell Greer will be coming as well. And I've had these documents for a very long time, but I haven't had enough content to fill the show. So I didn't want to just burn it up on like a 30-minute or I could stretch it to an hour segment just for the sake of having it. I wanted to give you guys a full Russell show, and so we will talk about that. I will invite Sriracha back for that. I don't know if she will join me or not. We will see. I make no promises, representations, warranties, or otherwise in the inviting of Sriracha, but I will invite her for the show because she is the one who introduced me to the completely non-lunatic person that is Russell Greer. Later this coming week, we're going to have Spectre, who is one of my moderators in the chat, as well as one of my Patreons. He went out and got the lawsuit papers of a lawsuit that we're going to talk about. And you guys have probably heard about it, but it's Justina Pelletier, depending on how French you are. She is a girl who is diagnosed with this really rare disease and then shipped over to Children's Hospital in Boston. And then Boston Children's determined that she didn't have the disease, but instead she had Munchausen by proxy, which means the parents basically force symptom. It's not really forced. They convince a child that the child has symptoms of some disease for the purposes of creating this slave to them. This is their theory. Even though they had an actual diagnosis, this is the theory that the diagnosis was wrong. And so then they actually took custody of Justina and stopped the treatment. It was this big, crazy case several years ago. And it's absolutely awful. And now the Pelletiers are trying to get justice for the fact that their daughter was taken away from them for well over a year. They were refused access to her at some points during this. She was held in custody at the hospital. She was also refused the actual treatment that would have done, that was treating the symptoms of the condition that she had, and she may never walk again because of it. So we're going to talk about that. It should be a cool show. I hope it's interesting. If you followed the case, it is just a sad story, but it's also a warning about the dangers of the systems where we let government into the parent-child relationship in ways that I think are impermissible. But the long story is they did eventually win the custody fight. But we'll see how it turns out for Justina in the long run. So we're gonna do that. I'm thinking that's gonna be a Wednesday show. Okay, And now something I know many of you have asked me about. Yes, Ronversations by proxy will be, I believe, Tuesday, unless there's some sort of significant thing that merits coverage prior to it. So I hope you guys are looking forward to Ronversations by proxy. That is coming up. That should be Tuesday. I will try to stomach the 4.5-hour interview of Ron by then. I'm going to try and do that over the weekend so I can maybe pull some clips or something like it. I got to check something real quick. Where is it? Wait. I think so. That's going to happen. Oh, there's 2 days left on Tug's book, Another Case for the Littlest Umbrella. If that's something you guys are following. You know, I've had Tug on the show several times. I wanted to make sure and mention it. I think that means his campaign ends on Sunday. I may invite him on over the weekend. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on, but you know, if you're interested in picking up that book, that campaign ends in like 2 days. But, all right, so next week, Monday, I believe, okay, Monday and Tuesday could switch. I think Monday will probably be Russell Greer. Tuesday will probably be Ronversations by proxy. Wednesday will probably be Justina. Okay, that's the look of next week, but it is subject to change based on scheduling, specifically of Sriracha. So, what else? What else do we need to talk about before we get started? I don't know if there is anything. I'm way out of sorts tonight, guys, and I apologize for that. We've had, like I said, we've had guests at our house for a week, and then I haven't been home all day today, and so I'm like still scrambling, trying to recover from the catastrophe. My brain is a little bit scattered, so I'm gonna try and focus it down. Oh, I know how to help that. I have brain medicine. That's right. There we go. What do we have for brain medicine receptacles? Oh. This'll help. FDA approved brain medicine. Got Honor brand whiskey. Yeah, I'm going to, Angry Baneling. I'm going to in just a second. This is a double, which it makes me happy. Red Flag stream will help too. Yes. Yes, it will. We need to talk about guns. We need to talk a lot about guns in the wake of riots and all of that. Guys, I finished that military special a while ago. Finished it a while back. All right. Oh, let's get this to live chat. See, I'm all out of sorts. All out of sorts. Okay. This whiskey is silky smooth. It's actually a really, really good whiskey. Hey, what's up, Toy Bounty Hunters? Shadows King, I will see about getting Kendra on. I will. I reached out to her a while back when I was going to do the a panel on Second Amendment stuff, and she had basically said, let me know when we were going to do it, and sounded like she was in. And then coronavirus struck, and I just have been pushing off the stream for a long time. So I don't know what is up with the hair. It's weird. Okay, stop distracting me. How dare you, chat? How dare you? Stop distracting me. I gotta get juiced up here. Let's see. Let's do these chats, these early chats, and then let's get into the show. After the early chats, I'm going to talk about Vic for just a minute. I know Vic isn't everyone's cup of tea either. Look, a year of Vic content. Let me just let's be honest about, I'm honest with you guys as much as is able to be conveyed by internet. I am honest with you guys. So I know that the Vic content is tiring for some people. I know that. And I have been stepping back from a lot of Vic heavy content. One, it's been a natural step back because there just hasn't been a lot to cover. We've had some big delays in the case, which are, I can't stress enough that even though it seems like this COVID, this is just normal. The pacing of all this stuff, this is what it's supposed. When I started covering the Vic suit or the Vic situation, it turned into the Vic lawsuit. This is the pace I was expecting because this is how it should go. There should be lots of lag time between things happening. Think of your boy Zach, Richard Meyer in his case. I mean, we've been just waiting for months now to see anything come up. It's been a month and a half since the last filing in that case. And the last filing in that case basically said, we're not going to solve this in mediation. So we want to go to trial. That's it. And then it's been a month and a half since then, and we've got nothing happening. That's what the Vic case was supposed to look like, but it turned into a monster truck rally with activity and loudness and cool things happening, but now it is slow. But it was almost a year of solid content. Vic. 3 days of Vic a week at least. And so I know some people got burned out on that. And I have made a conscious decision to not just pump in Vic content for no reason. Because if there's nothing to cover, I'm not going to sit up here and just blab at you about, theorizing on it. Conversations is kind of its own niche thing because that's just how you have to talk or communicate with a lunatic. And I thought that's just interesting. Talking with lunatics is always great. So anyway, but I am going to talk about Vic and Matsuri in just a minute here. And I'm going to talk about Vic's petition. It's not Vic's petition. I think it's a Reasonable Ranger who set it up, but it's a fan petition to get Vic to anime Matsuri. I'm going to talk about it. You're going to hear about it on the next couple shows, right? I'm going to promote that thing until hopefully Anime Matsuri will make an announcement that I would hope is them inviting Vic, but maybe they'll make an announcement. Otherwise, we don't know. Don't know what they'll do, but I would love for people to show support to that. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's do these chats first. I'm babbling. Kiwi goes live. 2 news stories to check out. Data analyst fired over tweet about how 1968 violent protests led to Dem voter drop. Peaceful protests raises Dem vote. And Davis, California business owner loses business over over a letter comparing Black Lives Matter to KKK. I had a tweet myself about this earlier when I saw that the Riot Games CEO stepped down after making some tweets that they weren't hot takes even. They were just literally not lockstep takes that Black Lives Matter is the greatest, most benevolent commie organization on the planet, and that George Floyd might have had some history that was less savory, and therefore, as a CEO, he had to go. The whole CEO, the CEO of a company. Now, I don't care about Riot Games. I don't know if you care about Riot Games, but CEO out because of a tweet that wasn't, it wasn't overtly offensive. But then the best part, and that you've seen this with the Riot Games, you see it with CrossFit, you see it with other places where a prominent figure makes a tweet that is insensitive, they get fired, and then the companies go on an apology tour on behalf of the fired person, even though they literally just fired them. and they dump money into Black Lives Matter or the NAACP Legal Defense Fund or somewhere else. It's like, pander with the checkbook as fast as hard as you can. Here, have $10 million. Here, have $1 million. The millions of dollars. Just take them, please. And why? Why? What good does it do? So anyway, that's what happened for Riot Games. I find it great. Yeah, go ahead and seppuku yourself on the altar of right think. Do it. I don't care. It's just crazy. Next, Fran Mataraki. Oh boy, are we talking more Romeo gets a minor of the funk juice so I can get her junk loose, Lacoste? Yes. Why? Austin Artless says, my employer is moving all the night shift guys in my department to days. Some people were laid off. Possibly last super chat in a long time, so take my shekels. Hey, thank you, Austin Heartless. I appreciate it. Don't ever, worry about that on my end. You take care of you, buddy. Hope you get to watch the replays if you're not able to make it live. GH0S7, which I think is supposed to be Ghost. Or since it's from Australia, Ghost. Good day, mate. First time super chatter, long time watcher. Hey, thank you. Wife and I just welcomed our second boy into this world. Yeah! More kids. More kids. Kids from good people. Look, the most common expression in my household while Drexel is over is these damn kids. They're running around crazy, having fun, being kids. But they are little fireballs of joy. Like, even you could be pissed at them for an entire day, but you still are happy that they exist. More kids with good people. Also, yeah, outbreed the commies is pretty important. Now we have 2 under 2. What have we done? Look, you just signed yourself up. Look at every new kid is like 3 more years of diapers. That's it. That's all that matters. Zachary Hamilton says, just turned 20 today. Got a bottle of Knob Creek single barrel from the parents. Felons! Felons! I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Felons! Unfortunately, have to work tonight until 8 a.m. Love the streams, man. Cheers from Iowa. Hey, cheers back to you in Iowa, Zachary Hamilton. Enjoy the Knob Creek single barrel. It's good stuff. I am a fan. I just had a bottle I just had a bottle of it. No, I had small batch. I didn't have the single barrel. I had Knob Creek small batch. But enjoy it and have fun with it, buddy. Drink responsibly or whatever. Also, don't drink it till next year. Ethics. Nicholas Hayes, it's not my police department. I am 100 miles from Minneapolis, so there you go. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay. Let's do Vic. That should have been the slogan for this change.org petition. Get away. All right, let's take a peep over at this thing. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. A moment. Whoops. Get it moved over. All right. Oh my goodness. What is happening here? Why is this in front of my camera? Rude. There we go. Why is this up? Oh my God. It's like I don't know how to run a show, which is true. That's a true thing. Here we go. That is a picture of Vic, actually. I could find the original. Look, you know it's a picture of Vic. Look at how gay this shirt is. Oh my God, it belongs right out of a pride parade. All right. Here is the petition for Vic Mignogna. I did a short video on this, but I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to shill it every single stream for the next several streams because I believe in this. And let me tell you why. Me to you. You to me. I don't know if Matsuri is going to bring Vic Mignogna or not. I think they might. I think they might. Okay? I don't know. I wish I knew for sure, but I don't. But I have, let's call it a good feeling that Matsuri is ready to bring Vic Mignogna. Now, the reason I'm talking about this, the reason I'm talking about this in particular, and that I think that Matsuri is going to bring Vic, is I've seen a lot of people say, well, conventions don't usually bring fans twice in a row, or bring the same guest twice in a row. Yes, that is true. Vic said it at his deposition. It's common for a convention not to bring the same guest 2 years in a row. You know what's not common for conventions? Coronavirus. Okay? Corona-chan changes, like, oh my God. Stop spamming. We'll get to Lucas Gerhard in just a second. Coronavirus changes all of that formulation because you don't have a normal year. There aren't 200 conventions or whatever going on across the United States this year. Of the big ones, the only, like, the Matsuri is one of the only big shows that there is. Most of the other big shows have canceled. Anime Expo is canceled. San Diego Comic-Con is canceled. Those are two of the biggest shows. They're just, you can't say, well, they had them last year, so they're not going to have them this year. Because that is out the window in a year like coronavirus. It's also out the window in a situation like Vic's. And I want to stress this. Vic is a little bit different than lots of con guests. One, because Vic is a big draw in general. In normal times, Vic is a big draw to the show. In non-normal times, Vic is a big draw to the show. He's always a big draw to the convention. And so Vic isn't the normal con guest, so to speak. If you invite him, you're going to have hundreds of people that otherwise might not have gone to your show. You're going to have people flying in from out of town to come see Vic. No matter the size of your show, that's going to happen. And you're probably going to have a line 100 people deep for several hours. That's what he brings to conventions. So for Vic, not getting invited to shows 2 years in a row previously wasn't a huge deal because he was still going to 20 to 25 shows a year or whatever that was. That was a common sort of occurrence for him. And he didn't have to go back to the same shows each year. And then also, part of the reason they don't do that, they didn't really ever talk about this that much, but when we went through the Kamehacon contract, there's a provision in there, and it's a non-compete provision. And basically, a lot of these shows, if you go to a show in Texas, for example, in Dallas, they're going to prohibit you from going to another show within like a 200-mile radius or in Texas or whatever for the next 60 days. So if you have 2 to 3 shows lined up in the same geographic area and they're big shows or whatever, you may not be able to go to if you've got, Kamehacon in April and A-Con in May, then 1 year you're going to have to go to KamehamehaCon, and the next year you'll probably have to go to A-Kon, and you probably can't overlap them because of the non-compete. So that's another factor into why these shows do the alternating guests, because it allows guests this sort of ability to go to different shows and service different audiences in the same areas without them having to kind of feel bad about it. So there are lots of reasons for doing that. But all of that is out the window because of coronavirus. So I want to put that out on the table. If you think Vic's not going to get invited back to Anime Matsuri, I would caution that being a reason to not sign this thing, because I'm pretty sure that there's no like strict policy that I'm aware of, but whoa, we had the guests last year, we're not going to have them this year. I don't think that's a real thing. So just want to point that out. The other thing is, the other reason I think that this is a special year and why this has a chance to work is because, again, it's coronavirus, but in a completely different way. They're going to want maximum value from the guests and attendees that they bring in. Vic is someone who's going to do that. Plus, I don't know if you guys noticed, but have you seen a lot of Funimation VAs on Anime Matsuri's list recently? No. Anime Matsuri largely deals with, it's a Japanese animation expo. It is not an American voice actor convention. So they're not like bringing in a bunch of American VAs to do stuff that other conventions do. It's a little bit of a different flavor. Vic is a great guest for Matsuri. He's also from Houston, so he's a big draw from that community for that reason as well. So I just want to encourage people, like, if you think that there's some reason you shouldn't sign the petition and that's helpful to Vic, let me persuade you the opposite way. Signing this petition is helpful to Vic. And here's the big kicker. This is our opportunity to show the assholes out there that fans want Vic to show up at Anime Matsuri, even if the fans can't make it. Signing this petition is not a pledge that you're going to make it. It's a request to bring Vic to Anime Matsuri. And if you read down at the bottom, it's right here. We hope that you'll see from the amount of fans signing below, coupled with the fact that the most vocal detractors are being exposed and their character discredited, that bringing an actor who genuinely cares for the fans when we need happiness, hope, and a true escape, shows like Anime Matsuri provide, that bringing Vic back is the right move. It's not a thing saying, you're going to bring Vic and then I'm going to go to your show. This is, please bring Vic to Anime Matsuri for the fans. That's it. That's why this petition exists. It's your ability to express a positive desire to see Vic being able to service the fans. Whoa, not in that way. See Vic being able to, yes, serve his community. Really serve his community. And one thing I've seen from Vic at conventions is that it really is about service. He is a service industry professional. That's what voice actors are when they're not voice acting. When they're at conventions, they're in the service industry. And that's a big thing. And Vic seems to take that to heart. He spends time with people. He cares for people. He shares an emotional exchange with people. It's not just, oh, hey, hi, yeah, where do you want me to sign? Here you go. Cool. That'll be $20 or whatever. It's not that. It's more. It's an encounter. And he actually is a service professional where a lot of these other people aren't. So I just want to mention that this petition is out there. Please, if you are a fan of Vic and you want to see him going to conventions, hint, this isn't just for Matsuri. Hint. If you want to see him going to conventions, sign the petition. That's all. It's not just to show Matsuri, guys. It's to show all of the other conventions. The people are willing to say, hey, invite Vic, please. I've heard a rumor that Vic is already the most requested guest for Anime Matsuri. By a long shot. I can't confirm that rumor, but I've heard that rumor. It's not just for Matsuri. You know, and this is briefly talked about on a show, or not on a show, I think on Twitter with Dick. Dick was talking about this in terms of companies. Whatever you think of Dick, listen to this because this is actually good advice. Sometimes companies just require enough of an explanation to everyone else to do the thing that they'll get a little heat for. If Anime Matsuri invites Vic, they're going to get, they're going to have to deal with the Karen emails, right? Like those will come because there are absolutely insane people out there like LJ Montello, like Ron Toye. I am the sheepdog. They will talk to the manager. That's going to happen. So they're going to have to deal with that. But sometimes what they need is just enough of a reason to say, those emails are worth it. Right? So this is not just a message to Matsuri. It's so that other conventions see the fan support for Vic. I can't express how important it is that Vic's fans come out, show their support for him. You guys have been doing it for a year. Keep doing it. And he'll keep getting to go to shows. Right now, think about this. The biggest anime show that will happen this year is Anime Matsuri. Vic may be there. Monica won't. Jamie won't. Chuck Huber? Don't think so. Anybody? Is Chris Sabat gonna be there? These guys are getting absolutely wrecked by coronavirus. And there's one great show. Also, I'll be there, so come see it. Okay, that's enough of the Vic talk for now. Let's talk quickly about Lucas Gerhard, and then we'll go into the Keemstar documents, because that's going to be the bulk of the show. All right. That is good whiskey. That is good whiskey. Let me pull up this Lucas Gerhard article again real quick, and we'll do a quick recap of the situation, and then I'll talk about, oh my God, I hate these. Yeah, use ad block, I know. There we go. Man, you can tell I just look at swimsuits all day, apparently. These targeted ads for swimsuits. Can I? There. All right, so this is Lucas Gerhard. Let me... Oh, I know why this is weird. That's what's going on. Hold on. This is my fault. I mean, everything's my fault, but this was particularly my fault. I had this set up double. Don't ask. Okay. Go away. Okay, so this is Lucas Gerhard. Here is a Snapchat that he sent out. Actually, and this is important to the case, this is a cell phone photo of a cell phone with a Snapchat on it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Designation 5 says, let the chat know. if the petition gets 5K signatures by the end of this stream, I'll donate $1,000 to Vic's war chest. So there you go, guys. I mean, that's a gauntlet thrown down. So we'll have to see what happens there. It's right now. I mean, I'll pull it up. Change.org is annoying, and they have this dumb script that doesn't actually let you know how many things have signed until it runs through and makes it look like people are signing right now. We're at about 3,080. So there you go. We'll check back on that periodically. No, I'm not going to drink peanut butter whiskey. That's disgusting. So this is the photo from a second cell phone of the Snapchat, because the person who took the photo of the Snapchat wasn't a recipient on Snapchat. The person who reported this crime. But the photo is some school bags, or a school bag, I guess, although it's police department gear, an AR-15 with a bayonet on it, and it says, and then some tactical, some tactical vests and stuff like that. It says, taking this bad boy up. This ought to make the snowflakes melt, eh? And I mean snowflakes as in snow. So that was his tweet, or his Snapchat. I keep saying that was his snap. It was not a tweet. That was his snap. And because of that, you can see the headline. He faces 20 years in prison for posting that photo. It is labeled a terroristic threat. And so he is facing 20 years in prison for a terroristic threat. That is, he was held in jail for 83 days. This kid is like 20. Yeah, 20-year-old college student. He might be 21 now. He was held in jail for 83 days and has been on house arrest since then, which was the end of that 83 days was in November. He's been on house arrest since November. Oh, seriously, man. That's you. Wait. No. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. I didn't know who it was. Angry Baneling. Seriously, man, is apparently Lucas Gerhard's dad, Colonel Mark Gerhard. So I know that he has seen the show. I know that Colonel Mark Gerhard has seen the show. If you're watching, seriously, man, we have a rule about not spamming. That's the only rule in the chat. So my mods have silenced you. But if it's, it very well could be him, because I know he watches the Lucas stuff. So, anyway, if you are him, thank you. If you're not him, hang in there. I support Lucas. I know some good people are supporting him. So the big thing that happened, there was a hearing. I shouldn't say there was a hearing. There may have been. There's a motion to dismiss the lawsuit, and it should have been dismissed because there is no way that this is anything other than a violation of his First Amendment rights. However, the judge denied the motion to dismiss, so now Lucas will go on to trial. He will proceed on in this case. This is costing the family a ton of money. This is costing the family a ton of hardship. It's taking away basically a year of this kid's life. Basically a year of this kid's life has already been taken. I mean, he will never get, being arrested and put into a jail for almost 3 months, and then being, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. He's now 7 months of house arrest, and they probably have to pay money for that house arrest as well. It is a abysmal disenfranchisement of this guy, of this kid and his rights. He does not. I've been through this so many times. I'm not going to go through it today. When I get a document in my hands that we can spend some time with, I will. I just don't want to rehash the old topics. But under Michigan law, this is in Michigan, this tweet cannot be a terroristic threat under the law as it's written, as it's interpreted. So this has the potential to be really a Supreme Court level case if the judge is dumb. I don't know how else to say it. If the judge is dumb and lets this case continue on. Now, I believe they are appealing the refusal of the dismissal. I believe that is set, that they're doing that. I don't know. Again, until I've got an actual document in my hands, I can't really say what's definitively going on. But I believe they are appealing the removal of the dismissal. And so I'm going to pull up the GoFundMe for the family because this is ridiculously expensive. I want to be clear on that. And this is, this is about, this is ridiculously expensive. And this is someone's, not only their freedoms, their freedom of speech, but their actual physical liberty is at stake over nothing. It's nothing to do this. And if you go back and watch the old streams when we went through this, this is propagated largely by a couple of female classmates who have been going after him for 2 years, I believe, ever since he basically answered a discussion question in class saying, I don't know if female officers can't pass the physical requirements for being a cop, then maybe they shouldn't be cops, was about it. I think the question was something like, should they lower the standards, the physical testing standards for female officers in the police force? And he basically said, no, that's, they shouldn't do that. So here is his GoFundMe. $16,186 raised. It would be really helpful if anybody wants to pitch into that. Update. Oh, so here's the update. June 12th, Judge James P. Lambrose has denied Lucas Gerhard's motion to dismiss the case. In a terrible miscarriage of justice, Lucas is still under arrest, still facing a 20-year felony conviction for a crime he did not commit. He must now either face a trial tentatively scheduled for September or spend thousands of dollars to file an appeal and wait weeks or months for a decision. He needs your help now more than ever. Thanks for the support you can provide. And then it goes on to talk about his situation that is still going on. So anything you can do to help is important. The idea that the judge would not dismiss this case is frustrating. The case should be dismissed. It should not have been charged. It shouldn't have been charged. Terroristic threats under the statute require identifiable victims. A threat is a statement made to convey, it's to cause fear, to convey apprehension or fear to an intended recipient. That's a threat. Just because it says terroristic doesn't mean it's terrorist-like, okay? The terroristic threats could also include the idea that you call in a bomb threat or something like that. But again, you're targeting a specific person to do this. Lucas didn't do that. And again, the person who actually reported the crime was not a recipient or intended recipient of the message. They'd actually blocked him on Snapchat. So, this is a nasty criminal thing they should do, or that Lucas has to deal with. And he will have to have a competent defense for it. And hopefully they will be appealing, and hopefully the appeals court will go ahead and just say, wait a minute. This is a serious restraint on First Amendment speech. There's no identifiable threat. I doubt the state can articulate what party is threatened by this in any way. And it's a real shame. So that's Lucas. That's his situation. There we go. Just wanted to give you guys an update because we are following that case. Adam has been a guest on the show. You see him in the chat, Adam D. Let's see. Sorry for this. Oh, this is from allegedly Lucas's father. Sorry for the spam. My internet keeps cutting out and it seems like it is sending the message multiple times. Lucas is currently recovering from a mental breakdown. Well, buddy, if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. You guys have my support and certainly have my voice. I don't know Lucas or his father. I've never met them, but anyone being punished over speech is nonsense, especially speech that, I mean, he did everything right with the firearm. That's the other thing to point out. When he got to the school, he checked in the firearm. That's an allowable thing. It's up on the northern peninsula of Michigan, so you can actually bring a firearm to the campus. You just can't have it on campus. So he checked it into the housing office where it was supposed to go, and was arrested right then. So, oh, that's not Mark. Okay. Well, thank you for telling me that, Adam. Thank you for telling me that, Adam. And seriously, man, stop impersonating people. That's rude. So there we go. Either way, Mark, if you're watching, cheers to you. And if, like I said, if there's anything I can do to help, I am happy to do so. And yeah, I would love to do that. I hope there's a good resolution for you and your son going forward, because this is crazy town. All right, let's do a couple more chats that came in, and then we will talk Keemstar. Malik Foxen says, "What's up, Rackets? Here's my Chaz fake currency. Very interested in seeing how these people get along. Not really hoping they fail as much as hoping they'll provide a large amount of laughs as they do try not to. Looks like everything is going well so far, eh?" I heard they have a farm set up in the Chaz. Let's see. Meet the farmer behind Chaz's vegetable gardens. I wonder how much farming he's done. Let's see. Let's pull this up for you guys. So this is Marcus Henderson. Behind Marcus Henderson, the garden takes shape. The shape is round. I want to talk about this anyway, so we'll get to Keemstar stuff in a second. But of all the horrors emerging from the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, perhaps none is so menacing as the sight of a community garden full of tomato seedlings sprouting inside coronavirus circles. So you can see they've got look at this garden. It's well organized and well put together. It definitely will produce lots of food for the Chaz. Let's see. Photos from the heart of the Chaz show that someone has put dirt in the mowed over circles, which were originally intended to promote social distancing, and that modest gardens are now arising in the spot that in previous summers hosted movie nights. So who's responsible? Are they actually expecting to feed themselves on these crops? What does this have to do with Black Lives Matter? It was real organic, shrugs Marcus Henderson. I came here with a shovel. Here's some more shots of the garden. Good job. Marcus was the first to start the gardening in the park, though he was quickly joined by friends and strangers. This isn't the work of a casual amateur. Henderson has an energy resources engineering degree from Stanford University, a master's degree in sustainability in the urban environment, and years of experience working in sustainable agriculture. His Instagram shows him hard at work on varied construction and gardening projects. He's done community development at organic farms around the world. So There you go. There's his credentials. We're dealing with a question of how black people have been disenfranchised for so long, pulled out of the economic system. He says one way of doing that is not giving people access to land. Oh, is that what's happening? Just so you guys know, you don't have access to land if you're black. I'm sorry. Sorry, that's how that works. Going back all the way to emancipation, he points out farming has been an important way for black people to gain autonomy and self-sufficiency. But black land ownership, particularly in the farming sector, has dropped precipitously over the last century. In the 1920s, America had nearly 1 million black-owned farms. By the 1970s, it was down to less than 50,000. How many farms are there in America now? How many farms are in the U.S.? There are 2.05 million farms total in the U.S. The average size of the farm has gone from 155 acres in 1935 up to 444 acres as basically farms consolidate. I wonder what they were before. Peaking at 6.8 million farms in 1935, number of U.S. farms fell sharply until leveling off in the early 1970s. So everybody stopped farming, by the way. It was 1/6 of farms. What is it? It's obviously less now as by percentage. It's still per capita lower now than there were. So there are per capita less black farmers than white farmers, but still. Let's see. Gardens in Cal Anderson Park were crafted quickly, but with expertise. A layer of cardboard smothers grass, which isn't a particularly healthy crop for the environment, and diverse seedlings donated by neighbors are placed into holes in the cardboard that allow them to take root underground. Now, if only we could do the same to all golf courses. Oh, so you get an idea of what this, thing is about. Nobody expects the little Cal Anderson plots to be a sustainable source of food for all the protesters. But they're a demonstration of how land can be put to better use. I agree. Get rid of all city parks, and in particular, all circles for the point of social distancing, and convert them into mini gardens. That would be great. That would be fantastic. I 100% back this. I can't believe it. And even find a token black person to do it. That's even better. I want that. I, without a hint of irony, want that. Let's see. Demonstration of land can be put to better use and the importance of land ownership for black Americans. That idea has motivated much of Marcus's work. When he began his career, he was engaged with policy and planning, but he soon saw that if he wanted to make real change, he'd have to get his hands dirty. His planned background is evident when you watch him work. During our conversation, volunteers continuously interrupted to ask him questions. Someone just brought compost. Where should it go? Marcus supplied instructions for containing it in tarps. A woman arrived and explained she's been out of work for weeks and wanted to volunteer in her neighborhood where she needed. He pointed her towards some watering cans. He said to the woman, nice cans. Very sexist. A bystander asked about creating green corridors through the city for pollinators. For the moment, that's beyond the scope of this installation. You think? You think that providing green corridors throughout the entire city to bring bees to the farm is beyond the scope? I don't know. It might be. We'll see. For now, Marcus says he's taking the project one day at a time, where they can be uprooted, clever, at any moment by authorities. But he's also planning improvements with planters that don't damage the ground and better watering systems. At the moment, their most urgent donation needs are for water barrels and other irrigation tools. All of the plants, tools, and dirt have been supplied by neighbors, with more donations arriving each day. Standing amidst the seedlings, Surveying the little circles of life, Marcus seemed tired, bemused, and also proud. I'm just a guy, he says, who's passionate about land. So there you go. There you go. That's the farms in the Chaz. That's the farms going on. He's a gardener, which is great. Gardening is fun. I don't know if you guys know this. I used to have a garden, and then deer came and ate everything. And then I said, I hate deer, and stopped gardening because all my work went to nothing. But that said, I hope they succeed. I want them to have fully functioning. I want them to till every park they take over. I want it plowed under. I want corporate farming in the middle of Seattle. It could be a co-op. I don't care how you do it. I want Seattle to be covered with dirt and corn and wheat. There's nothing funnier than that. God, that would be beautiful, wouldn't it? But yes, the community gardens there are going to feed nobody. And the real question will be, who gets the food? Or more importantly, who gets to decide where the food goes? Oh, I like eating deer. Don't mistake me. I love eating deer. I don't like when they eat my stuff. That's rude. I eat them. They don't eat my stuff. But, you know, we'll see how they go with their little farm. I wish them well. Like I said, plow it all under. In fact, those tents, look at how much space those tents are taking. That land could be put to much better use if it was all farmed. Do it. I want to see crop rotations. I want to see them spray fish blood and manure all over Seattle. Can you imagine? They just take the biffs or whatever that were donated idiotically by the city of Seattle. They donated a bunch of biffs, and they can just dump those in the city parks and spread it out for fertilizer. That'd be perfect. Do it, do it, do it. Make it maximum funny. Get my support. That's what I want. That's all I want. I'm a simple man with simple tastes. My simple tastes involve these people getting the city of Seattle, who gave up. They gave it all up. It's their own fault to turn into a literal shithole. That would be great. Okay, Keemstar. Let me get this Keem document pulled up. There we go. Why would that fail? Okay, we'll just do it this way. I'll download it later. Okay, so the what happened with Keemstar? Keemstar's lawsuit is a long story, and I won't tell all of it. But Keemstar is being sued by a guy named Romeo Lacoste. Okay? If you don't like Keemstar, great. I'm not asking you to like Keemstar. I don't care if you like Keemstar. Keemstar has always been nice to me the few times I've talked to him, which are very few. But he's been nice to me. Other than that, I don't interact with Keemstar. He's got a huge channel. I've got this little channel over in my corner of the internet, and that's fine. So I know a lot of people don't like him, and that's great. I don't know anything about that. I don't watch his show. I can't tell you the deep lore on Keemstar, why he's good or bad. I can't do it. All I know is here's a guy whose name I heard. He's getting sued, and the lawsuit is mentally handicapped. The suit itself should be ruled unfit to exist. But here's what happened. Keemstar last year, way back in early 2019, and here's probably why I have no idea about this, because it was in early 2019, and I was focused more on the Vic case at the time. He talks to these young lasses who claim that Romeo Lacoste was having conversations with them prior to them turning 18. And those conversations were sexually charged and sexually explicit or whatever via like Messenger or Instagram or something like that. Okay, so he was having conversations with girls that were a little bit young, and by a little bit young we mean minors. And he was a 30-year-old man at the time, and or something like that. And Keemstar talked to these girls and then exposed Romeo Lacoste. Romeo Lacoste is a famous tattoo artist. He tattoos the sphincters of starlets and celebrity girls or whatever. I don't know what he does. Tattoos some famous people. Who cares? He's just a tattoo artist, and he looks like he is literally has enough soy to squeeze him over the Seattle garden, and soybeans will just sprout up within days. So that's who that is. Keemstar does an expose on this and talks about the girls. The next day, I think this is March 19th or something of 2019, Keemstar has Romeo Lacoste on his show for a roughly 40-minute interview in which Romeo basically says, yeah, I did that. I talked to these girls. I know they weren't literally 18, but they were practically 18, which means they weren't 18. So he does that. Very, very bad move, by the way. And he probably didn't have a lawyer at the time. Although if he has the same lawyer he has now, maybe he did. Fast forward a year to February of 2020. A different girl comes to Keemstar, says she was 15 when she had sexually charged conversations with Romeo Lacoste over Messenger, and he sent her a dick video. So not satisfied with sending a dick pic, he sent her a dick video in which they showed the video with censor bars, thank God, on the show, on Drama Alert, Keemstar's show. So to show that actually did occur, Romeo sent the little waggling penis video to a 15-year-old. And there's some messages between him and said 15-year-old that suggests that he knew that she was not 18, and may have. I hope I'm not mistaking these events, because I wouldn't want to defame this pedophile. But he may have propositioned her, or not actually propositioned her, but suggested that if he came out to her town, maybe they could have sex, but maybe she'd have to wait until she was 18, type thing. Maybe. So, and this all came with receipts. Like these messages exist. They've been filed to the court. So Romeo sues Keemstar. Sues him and says, this man is interfering with my contracts by pointing out that I'm a pedophile. And in the lawsuit, he sets up and says that Keemstar said he had conversations with minors that were sexually charged. Romeo did have conversations with minors that were sexually charged. So he just says, yeah, that happened. In his own lawsuit, he says that. And he's suing Keemstar on this theory. So Keemstar made a motion to dismiss under California's Anti-SLAPP statute, which has a high likelihood of success. Based on what's in the complaint, high likelihood of success that he will be this will be dismissed. And to be clear, this one should. If for nothing else, then he flat out admits to the thing he's saying Keemstar said. Yeah, I did have sexually charged conversations with minors. All right, bro, why are you suing? So, it should be dismissed. Then what happened? We covered this. We covered the dismissal on this channel. Or the motion for dismissal. We read through it all. It's hilarious. And then Romeo's lawyer filed his response to the motion, his opposition to the motion, and he filed it wrong, and the judge struck it. So then he filed it again, and the judge struck it again, and then he filed it again, and the judge struck it a third time. It was stricken, but we read it. We read it anyway. We read the opposition to the motion, and in the opposition to the motion, my favorite moments, and there's like 4 of them that are just like this. It stands out because Romeo's lawyer says, a tattoo artist's sexual attraction to minor females is not in the public interest. So he says in the document, like 4 or 5 times, Romeo Lacoste is sexually attracted to minors, but that's not the public's business. And thank God this reply was stricken. The judge didn't, have to read it or whatever and consider it. But so it was all stricken, which I thought, to be fair, and I think I said this at the time, I think the judge probably should read the documents. He probably ultimately should read the documents. He should allow the opposition. But at the time, he was not allowing the opposition to stand. And so the motion was proceeding unopposed. In the meanwhile, since then, Romeo's lawyer did file a motion for reconsideration, and that motion for reconsideration was just granted. It was just granted. Let's pull that up for you guys here. Go. Whoa. So we've got civil minutes in chambers, order RE motion for reconsideration and motion for relief. Court hereby deems the motion for reconsideration and motion for relief, both filed June 3rd, 2020, seeking the same relief, a single ex parte application. Upon review of the ex parte application, the court grants relief. The opposition filed at docket entry 22 is hereby reinstated. Motions at docket entries 32 and 33 are moot. Now, to be clear, he also screwed up filing the reconsideration. We're not going to go through all of that. And the judge admonished him a little bit. But the ultimate outcome is this is being reconsidered. Now, his opposition document stands. It's in. So Keemstar filed his motion to dismiss. Now Romeo has filed already his opposition to the motion. That has been filed. And today we're going to go through Keemstar's reply in support of his motion to strike the complaint. So that's where we are now. So it is no longer proceeding unopposed, and Keemstar was forced to reply. You can see this is a prepared attorney because look at this. June 12th was the date that the motion was reinstated. That was just Friday. And also on June 12th here, we have the 14-page reply. So they did actually write the reply, I would assume, prior to getting this order. They were prepared and ready to go on it. So that's that. We're going to read through this in just a minute. We're going to read through this, but this is where we are in the case. So this reply will be the last document prior to there will be a hearing on the motion, and that there should be a hearing on the motion. And after that, the judge will rule on whether or not the case proceeds. Okay? I hope everybody's clear on the procedural stance of this case. Crotch says he goes by Romeo because, to be honest, he's going to kill himself in Minecraft. I thought he went by Romeo because he was attracted to girls under 18. Just saying. All right. So here we go. You have the table of contents. We're not going to go through that. Here's the introduction. Here's that deep law lovin'. Deep law lovin' that you guys are looking for, I guess. We welcome Romeo's opposition filing. Yes, you do. Look at that. Now, they made a motion for reconsideration, and it was granted. And part of the reason why it was granted is because they didn't file an opposition to granting the reconsideration. They could have filed a response. They could have said, no, we oppose this. He broke the rules. One, it would look petty and vindictive. Two, it was probably going to get reconsidered anyway because the errors were minor form errors and local rule errors. They probably could have been appealed, and they would have severely prejudiced Romeo. But why wouldn't you want that opposition? We read it. It is a terrible document. It is abysmally bad. It was so bad, I had to call Mr. Peacock in the middle of the night, wake him up to come on the show to laugh at parts of it. Like, it was bad. So yes, they welcome the filing. It places in high definition for the court and counsel the very reasons why Romeo's suit runs afoul of California's anti-SLAPP law. From his very own briefing, we now know that Romeo himself does not dispute that sexual molestation of minors and online adult predatory sexting with minors are matters of pressing public importance, and that the girl's accusations against him are accurate, and that Romeo himself is a public figure. I'm curious how they're going to argue this, because they argue the opposite. Now, I agree with the sentiment. An adult sexually molesting minors and sexting with minors are matters of pressing public importance, especially an adult like Romeo Lacoste with vast access to thousands and thousands of underage victims. I mean, the man has like 1 million Instagram followers, and I would assume a high percentage of those are young females. So this definitely is in the public interest. I just don't know how they're going to say that they argued for that. I'm curious to see it. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just curious to see how they do it. It should be great. I got a couple of chats here to read. The Big Red Bear says 20 years. Oh, this is back to Lucas Gerhard. Sorry, I should have read this earlier. 20 years, ridiculous. For crimes such as this, it should clearly be at least 40 years without parole. I mean, this is basically the same as first-degree murder. It is. It is, Big Red Bear. Now, to be clear, an actual legitimate terroristic threat maybe should carry a 20-year sentence. I mean, it can put people into severe emotional distress. It can put them into fear. It could cause them to harm themselves or others. It certainly can be a bad thing. In Lucas's case, obviously it's not. Adam D says, Nick, appreciate it if you could encourage people to support Lucas's GoFundMe. As we all know, appeals can be expensive. Also, just emailed you the motion to dismiss and the government response that got denied yesterday. We'll probably take a look at those we'll probably take a look at those on another show. But yeah, and in which I can focus on Lucas's case a little bit more. So thank you for that. I'll take a look. But again, check out Lucas's GoFundMe. All right, back to, oh wait, no. Rob Van Pelt, Nova Zero. Damn it. WTF, I condemn that entire region to the gayest autonomous anti-fasten zone possible. May the Karens be exiled to China and the judge feel the gout in his knees and be stuck kneeling for like no reason. I think he's talking about Lucas Gerhardt's judge. Gelth says, later and gayer than your nose, helping Hitler gas the Jews in Minecraft and your grandpa shorts. What did I miss, Rackets? You missed a whole lot, buddy. Hope you're feeling better. Rob Van Pelt says, the garden has already been destroyed. Check the Racket streaming channel in Discord. No, it hasn't. It can't already be destroyed. No. A homeless guy is now challenging passerby to Mortal Kombat for control of the farm. Hold on. Homeless guy took over the garden and destroyed it. No! Oh, God, no. Oh, no. We need to take a brief break from Romeo Lacoste. Oh, no. What? Where is it? Ian Miles Chungus, I hate you. These people tweet too much. Hold on, we got a couple short videos to watch. Here we go. Here we go. All right, a homeless Chad has taken over the garden in Chaz and destroyed it. Look at this guy. Got post staff skills. Like, what is he doing? I don't understand what's happening, but I like it. Here, let's see. We've got homeless guy challenging passerby to Mortal Kombat for control of the farms. Let's check of this one. Here we go. I can't understand what this guy is doing. Besides just having a generally good time. Where's Raz Simone when you need him? Where's the king?
Oh, I did it. When I got a stick, it's like...
I think he just said, I've got a stick. This is like the plot of Bulletproof Monk. Okay. I honestly have no idea what actually happened. This garden is for the black and indigenous folks and their plant allies. Okay. So that's that. Lunacy aside, we need to get back to this. The drama over the garden is killing me. Look, you guys are criticizing the dirt on the cardboard, but the cardboard kills the grass. And they, like, couldn't afford landscaping paper. Okay. Like the landscaping paper that is degradable and becomes nutrients for the soil after it kills the grass. Oh, God. All right. Back to this. The meaning of Romeo... I don't know how to deal with this. There's too much funny going on in the world. Tilling ground is like so imperialist. Look, if you don't have 5 minutes to till the ground, maybe you shouldn't be on Twitch. Maybe you should go out and get your 5 minutes to till the ground. The meaning of Romeo's necessarily made concessions is plain. Keem made truthful statements about Romeo that fall squarely within the ambit of constitutionally protected speech and that contribute to the public interest. This is so because, as held earlier this year by a federal district court for the Northern District of California, there's a public interest in specifically identifying individuals believed to have committed sexual misconduct. Such discussions contribute to the discussion surrounding sexual assault because they invite discussion on identifying, responding to, and preventing sexual abuse. Publicly accusing individuals of rape and sexual assault is unquestionably controversial, but the controversy itself serves to demonstrate that it is a matter of public interest and debate. So there you go. That is a Northern District of California federal court ruling on that. Here, Keem's truthful airing of illegal predatory sexual misconduct by Romeo against minors contributed to the public interest, perhaps literally protecting underage women from becoming Romeo's next victim. As such, Romeo's attempt to squelch Keem's speech through retaliatory litigation constitutes a SLAPP suit that must be stricken and for which Keem should be reimbursed his legal fees. So, the first point here. Yeah, Strawberry Crush is delicious. You're right. First point here is the challenge statements were made in a public forum in connection with an issue of public interest. Truthful statements that an adult public figure engaged in sexual contact with minors contribute to the public debate is the subheading. The statements that are challenged here furthered a dialogue by several young girls who claimed that as minors, Romeo, an adult, had a sexual relationship with one of them, engaged in predatory sexting on the internet with several of them, transmitted a pornographic video of his penis to one of the girls who is still a minor. In an opposition filing that is as remarkable for what it does not say as for what it does, Romeo does not dispute that sexual molestation of minors and online adult predatory sexting with minors are matters of pressing public importance. Oh, okay. So he doesn't dispute this. Maybe a stretch. They say that his sexual attraction is not a matter of public importance, but I guess, yeah, they don't go into these specifics, which would be a direct response to the allegations of the motion. Romeo does not dispute the accuracy of any of the girls' allegations. He does not. And Romeo does not dispute that he is a public figure, a famous tattooist, and a well-known social media influencer with a sizable social media following. They kind of dispute this. They kind of do. I will say, to be fair, they said that those statements were, the public figure statement was made in a cease and desist letter, which is part of negotiation. It's a bad argument, but they do try to make it. Rather, in an ostensible linguistic effort to downplay his illegal acts, Romeo concedes that he has, quote, sexual preferences and proclivities that include engaging in sexual acts and online communications with minors. Ah! No! Romeo, no! Why would you do this? This is not the way, brother. This is not the way. Then conceding that minor girls have contacted him on the internet because of his fame. He did do that. This is not the way. Romeo purports to attribute his sexting with minors to his inexperience with fame. No, Romeo, why? He also attempts to depict the challenge statements as simple disclosures of private information about his sex life. Guys, that filing was so bad. It was so bad. The foregoing facts establish that Keem's news report of the girl's accusations against Romeo contributed to the public debate. The law is unambiguous on the point. There is a public interest in, quote, specifically identifying individuals believed to have committed sexual misconduct. The girls' accusations against Romeo, which were the subject matter of the YouTube videos, contributed to discussion surrounding sexual assault because they invite discussion on identifying, responding to, and preventing sexual abuse. As Todd is a case, not a dude, cogently observed, accusations of abuse on their own can serve the interests of the public at large. Publicly accusing individuals of rape and sexual assault is unquestionably controversial. The controversy itself serves to demonstrate that it is a matter of public interest and debate. It is, and that doesn't mean that it isn't defamatory. It just means that it's within the public interest. It can still be defamatory even if it's in the public interest. Court found a public interest in specifically identifying individuals believed to have committed sexual misconduct with minors. Okay, let's read these footnotes real quick. Contrary to Romeo's arguments, Keem does not contend that the challenge statements are in the public interest solely because of Romeo's position as a famous public figure. Even were Romeo a non-public figure, calling out an adult who engages in illegal acts with minors is part of the public debate around childhood sexual abuse. And yes, it is. It absolutely is. You want to know, and everybody wants to know. We as a society want to know. This is why we have the sex offender registry. We want to know who is a risk to minors. So, of course, it's part of the public debate. Nevertheless, Romeo's fame is a factor that should be considered in determining whether the challenge statements were made in connection with an issue of public interest. And they're citing Wilson versus Cable News. If Wilson were a public figure in the public eye, or were a figure in the public eye, that status could be a sufficient basis to conclude statements about him would be a matter of public interest. So they're saying that the underlying statements themselves are a matter of public interest, but also if it's a public figure involved, that's another avenue to public interest. Romeo argues that Terry is distinguishable because unlike a pastor, Romeo is not legally allowed to interact with a minor when he performs his vocation. Because tattoo artists can't give tattoos to girls under 18. He concludes, therefore, that, quote, whether a tattoo artist has a sexual interest in underage persons is not a matter of public interest. Plaintiff's vocation is irrelevant. In Todd, the court held that a sexual misconduct, including rape by a developer of cryptocurrency and blockchain software, was a matter of public interest. So there you go. Going after the blockchains. Going after the blockchains. The principle is embodied in the many cases concerning third-party complaints about a service provider, which have consistently been held to constitute protected activity under the Anti-SLAPP statute. They're saying that he provides a service, right? Romeo does. He does tattoos. And so complaints about him are also in a matter of public interest. Plaintiff argues that this line of cases is not applicable because the challenge statements here have, quote, nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with plaintiff's ability to operate his business. Romeo's wrong. Members of the tattoo community have, quote, an interest in judging whether they should interact with Romeo, and the allegations of childhood molestations against him can inform those decisions. For example, in Todd, the court found that the cryptography community had an interest in judging whether they should interact with defendant Todd, and allegations of sexual abuse against Todd can inform those decisions. Indeed, as the complaint alleges, Romeo's customers care about whether or not he engages in inappropriate sexual relationships with minors, and some have decided not to get tattoos from him because of the girl's allegations. So, yeah, the very fact that people have... The fact that he's suing over, right? He's suing over the fact that he's losing business, and he's stating it's the damages involved. That does make... or the damages related to them saying, you know, he did these things, that he engaged in sexual acts with minors, that fallout is leading to lost business because people are seeing it and going, oh God, I don't want to interact with this person. Well, that therefore makes it a matter of public interest. But they do have to run up against the idea that you can't make a person into a public figure by your own actions. A defendant can't. So that would be probably going to come up at oral argument against Keem, is that they're going to say that, well, these allegations are making him into a public figure. But again, on the defamation part of this, part of the defamation is that they have to be not true. That the allegations have to be not true. Now, this isn't a defamation case, I know, but the underlying idea are still, it's tortious interference, and they're going to argue that the tortious interference was defamatory claims made by Keemstar that caused damage against Romeo Lacoste. Part of that is falsity. They've already admitted that they're true. So all of this is all bad for Romeo. In sum, the danger that minors will be lured into inappropriate internet sexual communications, including the transmission of pornography by adults, and in particular by famous adults, is a matter of pressing public interest. And I think we can all agree with that. Right? Like if Will Smith was sending out pictures of a penis to underage girls, we would all want to know that and say, bad Will, bad, no, no. Footnote. See also twitter.com smallbeansjohnson. Johnson tweeted on March 15th, 2019, after the girl's tweets accusing Romeo, but before Keem's first YouTube video aired. And I was thinking about getting a tattoo by him. I'm reconsidering now. So there you go. Let's see. This debate is significant enough to garner public interest. Romeo's extensive social media following of nearly 1 million subscribers to his YouTube channel, 1.8 million followers to his Instagram account, also demonstrates that challenged statements were of concern to a substantial number of people rather than just to a relatively small specific audience. In the matter at hand, I'm skipping these citations because they're not super important. In the matter at hand, more than 1.5 million people viewed each YouTube video. Plaintiff's argument that because Keem's purpose was to sell news, the YouTube videos are not protected by the Anti-SLAPP statute. Don't call it news, you dummy. Lacks merit. It does lack merit. If it's newsworthy, selling news is good. Selling not news is bad. But if you call it news, just, I don't know. Plaintiff's allegations that Keem's purpose in airing the YouTube videos was to harm plaintiff's business prospects is irrelevant to the first step of the anti-SLAPP analysis. At the first step of analysis, the anti-SLAPP statute does not require a defendant to disprove allegations of an illicit motive. But selling news isn't illicit. News is protected. Batgoat says there is no pizza in Australia. Won't anyone think about the Gelts? I do. I will. I will think about the Gelts. I will. Okay. Keem was not selling a typical commercial product. He is the seller of news that is itself subject to First Amendment protection. And then citing OJ versus Brown, reporting the news. Not that OJ versus Brown. No! Oh God, that ended in a knife. Or that ended with a car chase. Reporting the news is protected speech activity. Obviously. Keem did not convert private information about Romeo's sex life into a public interest. Romeo's argument that Keem converted, quote, private information about his, quote, sex life and, quote, sexual proclivities into a, quote, public interest by discussing it on his YouTube news channel is not factually accurate or legally supported. First, Keem reported on his news channel about public allegations of childhood sexual abuse that had already been made by the victims on the internet. That information was already a matter of public interest before Keem issued his news report on his YouTube channel. Second, Plaintiff's argument has been soundly rejected in an analogous context by Greer. In Greer, the plaintiffs were a church pastor and his wife who brought a defamation case against the pastor's stepson and parishioner. The defendants had posted multiple comments about the pastor on an internet forum and on the stepson's personal website. In these postings, the defendants accused the pastor of childhood abuse against his stepson and claimed that the pastor was stealing money from the church. The posts included comments stating the pastor was a, quote, bad guy and has gotten away with a lot of bad stuff in his life, including drug dealing, drug smuggling, child abuse, alleged molestation, stealing money from the church, spiritual abuse, and much other stuff. Quote, a liar and self-confessed felony child abuse, and a, quote, sick, molesting, evil man. On appeal, the plaintiffs argued, as Romeo does, these statements were not made in connection with an issue of public interest because the situation was a, quote, private family dispute that the defendants have attempted to make public by their own conduct. Court disagreed, stating that the pastor's, quote, character and fitness to serve as a pastor are of interest to the membership of the church. It noted that the defendants were, quote, attempting to warn people away from the church with Bob as the pastor, and information provided to aid decision-making by potentially affected parties is an issue of public concern. Court concluded that, quote, allegations of abuse by members of the clergy and the protection of children concern issues of public interest. So there you go. So footnote here, plaintiff incorrectly argues that it is defendant's burden to prove plaintiff has failed to state a claim. On an anti-SLAPP motion, after the moving defendant identifies all allegations of protected activity and the claims for relief supported by them, the burden shifts to the plaintiff to show a reasonable probability of prevailing in its claims. Where in this case, defendant alleges only legal insufficiency, the plaintiff's burden is to show sufficiency of the pleadings. And that's citing some case. So plaintiff did not meet his burden of establishing a probability of success on the merits. First Amendment bars plaintiff's claims. Contrary to plaintiff's assertions, whether challenged statements are opinions or false statements of fact, and whether malice is properly pleaded can be resolved at a Rule 12 stage. See Resolute Forest Products versus Greenpeace. Granting motion to dismiss an anti-SLAPP motion on the grounds that 1, plaintiff failed to adequately plead actual malice, and 2, statements were not actionable false statements of fact. Plaintiff's conclusory allegations are insufficient to establish malice. It is undisputed, based on the complaint and matters that are subject to judicial notice, that plaintiff is a limited public figure. Okay. That's because he says he's famous over and over again. Romeo argues that he's sufficiently alleged actual malice by conclusorily alleging Keem, quote, recklessly and maliciously continues to make such accusations. Right, and that doesn't show that that's actual malice. In any way, this does not. And there's a footnote here. Romeo alleges this admission that he is a public figure in his cease and desist letter is protected under Federal Rule of Evidence 408 as an offer to compromise. Plaintiff is wrong. First, cease and desist letters are not per se offers to compromise. Second, even if it was an offer to compromise, Keem is not seeking to introduce it for purposes prescribed by Rule 408, but rather to show that he is a public figure. So there you go. They dealt with that accusation. Romeo argues that he's sufficiently alleged actual malice by... Yeah. Oh, I read that already. Dang it. This is nonsense. To determine whether a plaintiff adequately pleads actual malice, the court must, quote, disregard the portions of the complaint where the plaintiff alleges in a purely conclusory manner that the defendants had a particular state of mind in publishing the statements, as threadbare recitals of the elements of a cause of action supported by mere conclusory statements are insufficient to support a cause of action. There must be specific allegations of the speaker's mindset, such as that the defendant provided no source for the allegedly defamatory statements, or that the source denies giving the information. Plaintiffs allege none. Challenge statements are not actionable false statements of fact. So that was kind of interesting. Did we see that, guys? There's a way to give some actual malice here, providing no source or the source denies the information. That's two ways to establish actual malice. Challenge statements are not actionable false statements of fact. Neither the complaint nor the opposition alleges that the challenge statements were false. To the contrary, the complaint admits that Romeo had, quote, a sexually charged sexting and video conversation with a minor girl. It did say that, and that's not good. In his opposition, Romeo does not dispute that as an adult, he had sexual acts, conversations, and shared a video of his penis with minor girls. That is the definition of a pedophile. See dictionary.com. Quote, an adult who is sexually attracted to young children. Footnote 9. In any event, Keem merely said that Romeo was like a pedo, not that he was in fact a pedophile, which is an expression of an opinion rather than a fact. So there you go. Romeo can hardly claim that Keem's statements that Romeo's career is finished and that, quote, nobody wants to get a tattoo from this guy for obvious reasons as a result of the girl's allegations are untrue. The complaint alleges that the girl's sexual misconduct allegations against Romeo had an adverse effect on his tattoo business. In any event, Keem's opinions about the repercussions Romeo should suffer for his sexual misconduct, e.g. Romeo belongs in a cage, were merely expressions of subjective judgments. So basically saying Romeo belongs in a cage isn't enough to raise to actual malice. I hope that was clear. It's kind of muddied in all the legal talk, but that's what they're saying. Apart from the First Amendment bar on plaintiff's claims, complaint fails to state claims for tortious interference. All right, here we got tortious interference with prospective economic advantage. They're going to go through the elements and point out why the complaint fails, and this is a good thing. Standard error, does C dictionary definition actually carry any weight? Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Tortious interference with prospective economic advantage. Plaintiff failed to allege that 1. Facts showing that the Keem engaged in conduct that was wrongful. The Keem engaged in conduct that was wrongful, quote, by some legal measure other than the facts of the interference itself. 2. The existence of an economic relationship with a specific third party. And 3. Keem had knowledge of and intent to interfere with that particular economic relationship. First, plaintiff's opposition. There's only a couple, like 2 pages here. First, plaintiff's opposition only addressed the second and third elements, thereby conceding that he is not and cannot plead facts showing that Keem's conduct was independently wrongful. For this reason alone, Romeo failed to properly plead a cause of action for TI with economic advantage. Next, as to the second and third elements, plaintiff claims Keem's statements interfered with his prospective economic advantage. As Keem stated, after the story came out with Romeo trying to hook up with underage girls, no one wants to get a tattoo from Romeo for obvious reasons. This alleged admission, Romeo argues, without citation to any law, obviates the requirement to plead the existence of an economic relationship with a specific third party. This, too, is nonsense. Keem did not admit that there was, or that he knew about before he published the YouTube videos, any existing specific third-party business relationship containing the probability of future economic benefit to Romeo. Romeo also ignores that in the March 17, 2019 YouTube video, he denied that he lost any clients as a result of the girl's allegations. Romeo responded to Keem's comments that the girl's allegations had resulted in the loss of business with a man named James Charles as follows. Actually, the collaboration with James had been down for a long time. That has to do with his brother wanting to get tattooed, and it was not up to code with health regulations, and there was just like permits and stuff that were not there. The video has been down for months. The video has nothing to do with this situation at all. So there you go. There's him undercutting that in general. Keem's vague references to unspecified potential future tattoo clients, like the complaint's allegations, amount to nothing more than a mere hope for an economic relationship with a desired future benefit, which is inadequate to state a claim for interference with prospective economic advantage. TI with contract. Equally defective are Romeo's vague and non-specified allegations that defendant was aware of and had knowledge of plaintiff's contractual relationships with promoters, agencies, social media platforms operating on local, national, and international stages, and intended to disrupt those relationships. Plaintiff also fails to identify, as he must, a specific contract, the terms of that contract, and how a defendant would have known of that particular contract. So there you go. That's it. That's the response. They don't have a prayer for relief in here. They don't say that, I mean, the judge knows from the original thing, but it seems a little short. It seems like they could have added a thing, but they've got 10 pages as the document, so I guess they got what they wanted. So here we go. So that's where Keemstar's lawsuit is with Romeo Lacoste. There's not much to say about it other than that. We'll see how the judge rules. I hate making predictions because if I make predictions about what I think is going to happen, people are like, you're a bad lawyer if they don't turn out right. But I think that this will probably get dismissed. It should be. That's the thing. It should be dismissed. Whether or not it will be is up to the judge, but this one's pretty clear. Pretty clear. All right, let's check on this petition for Vic. Oh, we're up to 3,156. Well, it's going to go through its thing. It's probably going to land around 3,170. So thank you guys for signing that petition. That is awesome. Please continue to support Vic in that. If you haven't gotten around to signing it, go ahead and sign it. Church and state are separate. Why is prayers a section? Because the prayers aren't to a deity. And it's just a holdover language from European or English law. Romeo Lacoste, come on, I love it. So that's it, guys. I don't really have a ton more for the show itself today. We're gonna read through super chats, obviously. I was thinking of talking about some other stuff, but I said my head's kind of out of sorts. I need to recover. I had had Drexel over at my house for a week, which is great, but I did have people in my house for a week, so now it's time for me to chill out. Baneling is asking if I'm going to do Twitch today. Yes. Yes. I am going to do Twitch today. I am. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do Sekiro. I did fix the problems that I was having with the weird frame pauses on Sekiro, but I'm not going to do Sekiro today. I'm going to do something a little bit more low brain power on that. But yeah, we'll do something. I got to make some food, but we'll do some Twitch and hang out. And then tomorrow I'll be streaming D&D tomorrow and Sunday, I believe. Inverloch tomorrow, Inverloch's channel tomorrow for the Docky McCarran character. And then Bibble's channel on Sunday for Syl Blinton. So if you guys want to hang out tomorrow and Sunday, there will be D&D sessions going. Tomorrow is at 1 p.m. Central, I think. And then Sunday is at 4 p.m. Central. So you guys can, if you want to come hang out and do that, you can. Otherwise, don't. That's fine. We play it for fun and we broadcast it for fun. And if you want to join in on that, you can. But that's what I know is going on. I'm going to do a Twitch watch party for Vinland Saga really soon. So we'll be doing multiple Vinland Saga episodes, maybe even starting this weekend. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can join in on that and we can watch Vinland Saga together and just hang out, and I don't know, I'll make commentary on it. I've never watched it. I've only watched a couple clips on YouTube, so that'll be fun. But to be clear, you have to have Amazon Prime to participate in those streams. That's the way Twitch works. So there's that. Okay. Let's read the rest of the super chats, and then I'm going to go make some food, and then I'll get on Twitch. Man, I am just, whew, trying to get my bearings today. Oh, it only works in the USA? That's lame. That's lame. I'll announce, I haven't figured out when the watch party is. I'll announce it, Tiny Kitsune. I'll announce it on, I'll put it on YouTube on the community page, and I'll put it on Twitter. So. You know him as Chengiz Khan says, that Chaz garden is pitiful. Has Marcus considered using Brondo? It's got what plants crave. It has electrolytes. Refined Valley Dude says, good morning, lords and lordesses. Let's get this sweet roll. Dr. Burpbag prescribes French toast with a tall glass of kick dick, and remember to carry a big boomstick. It's time to do science, do art, and do sexy time. If you see a goofy goober dog bork, it's stupid. Okay. Fine Valley Dude says, but stay focused. Ooh, is that a piece of candy? Roll your D20 for badass. You got a 20. You're a sexy monkey on a big flippin' science rock. No idea what he's saying. Fine Valley Dude says, take a huge breath, crack your knuckles, fart, poopy, cast restoration, roll your tap your land cards, rewind your VHS tapes, and take a shit. Now you're ready to defeat what the ancient ones called Monday. All right, buddy. That was strange. Malik Foxon says, the way that garden looks, it looks like they're banking on none of the crops failing or bugs or wildlife getting at them. For someone who's got a good planning background, it looks like the farm was still cobbled together in a few days. Testing out on Holiday says, this dude wants more black farmers. Didn't the Civil War start because 3/5 of the 13% of the population committed 100% of the agriculture? Ah! Malik Fogden says, new t-shirt idea. Man, I've got a stick. Image of homeless dude with a stick standing in the middle of a trampled garden with the words Mortal Kombat underneath them. It won't make sense to anyone but us. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Salty Dog. Salty Dog says, stream was on time. Truly a sign of the end times. The world is coming to a close. Finnegan Chief says, Patreon is suing a group of users who are trying to arbitrate their banning of a creator. Posted a link to the court docs in Discord. Show research. Yes, that is... I'm going to talk about that this coming week at some point, or maybe over the weekend. That is Vox Day, I believe, and Owen Benjamin. Interestingly, they're actually suing Patreon. But Patreon had an arbitration clause. Then what Patreon did when Patreon got the bill for like millions of dollars, said, we're going to quickly change our terms of service to have the arbitration clause that was mandatory the entire time that all this was going on. We're going to now make that not mandatory because California changed their rules on arbitration, and Patreon would have to pay up front their entirety of their fees before getting to the arbitration itself. And so they tried to go back in and change their arbitration clause after this suit was brought because they were about to get absolutely bent over the table on fees, which is great. Because remember, they forced all of us to accept that arbitration clause until it bit them in the ass. So there you go. Oh, guys, I'm supposed to tell you to subscribe to Rekieta Media. The Rekieta Media YouTube channel is my alternate channel. please go ahead and subscribe to that. Angry Baneling put a link in the description. You can also find it elsewhere on this video, I think. But please subscribe to that channel. There's some... I've got more Rekieta Media content coming that's not live stream content. It is going to pop up very soon. I've got some ideas on what to do, so stay tuned on that. But there you go. Okay. But yes, we'll be talking about that Patreon suit. Like, Patreon flat out, I won't say doxed, but they dropped the full names of their own customers to a court. And roughly where they live. To say they're following your rules of arbitration and it's mean. Oh, it's good. It's good. DCV Titan says, if you're bringing Tug on, watch the Ron vids beforehand and discuss them. Also, you going to look at Vic's document that's due on the 20th? Yeah, when it's out. Of course. Romer Migtow says, Vic's Star Trek Continues content isn't gay. You just can't hide your feelings for him anyway. Did I say I didn't say his Star Trek Continues content was gay. I said his pants and his shirt are. Tarek Twilight says, who respects these people that bend the knee and pander? Does anyone? I hope not. I hope not. Backgoat says, Nick, I'm drinkies. Yay, more kids. Sigurd Helix and Crypt Keeper says, as a friendly subscriber, Nick, please stop wearing that dead lesbian rat named Karen on your head and stop petting it, Nick. No. This is my dead lesbian rat. You leave her alone. Bradley Mitchell says, Vic is going to be at UltraCon in West Palm Beach, Florida on August 29th and 30th. Will you be there, Nick? I'll be there. Also, Cowboy Bebop sucks. Well, I mean, you can think that. That's fine. I thought it was good. I don't think I'll be at UltraCon in West Palm Beach on August 29th and 30th. I'm gonna be at Matsuri August 20th through 23rd. So it would be hard for me to get to Palm Beach right after that. So no, probably not. Tiny Kitsune 038 says, Nick, what is your take on all the focus on race lately? Would it not be better to stop bringing race up and judge people based on merit and actions? That's what I think. I don't think race is a factor in just about anything. Some people disagree, but that's me. I mean, I've been in the minority when I grew up in Houston. White kids were very much a minority at every school I went to. I've been in the majority when I moved to Minnesota. White kids are very much the majority at every school I went to in Minnesota. I never saw race as even a thing. I didn't know it was a thing until I was older. Didn't care. So, yeah, I don't know how you fix it, but I don't think it really matters. Tarapar says, so you mean spray seed all over Chaz? Chazers. Gross. Your Name Is Here says, dude, Kingpin is one of Woody's best. You're missing out. Such a classic tragedy. I bet a bottle of your choosing under $1,000 you'll enjoy it. No, I probably would love it. I'm sure it's very funny. I just won't watch it because of principles. Principles. Biggest Geeka says, did they actually say they want blacks working on farms? Like plantations? Yes, but mini plantations. Mini plantations. Roy McGeary says, when reviewing the Ron Knucklehead stream, please address the fact that Ron has a beard because without one, he would have the jawline of Roger Ebert. Nikki J, thanks for the donation, also says, objection, on what grounds? It's devastating to my case. Catastrophe says, Nick, you are a lying dog-faced pony soldier. How many push-ups can you even do? Not many right now, man. I used to be able to do a lot. Now, probably like 3. More than 3, but less than 50. Oh, God. Patriotic Cat says, good. Your plant killing skills are remarkable. Yeah, mine actually are. Kill plants like crazy. Nya says, we need a 24/7 broadcast of Antifa stand for morale. God, no. Cac7 Go says D&D when? You don't pay me enough to keep this up? I don't know. It's not just up to me, Keck. Satanic Potato says, now wait a minute, Romeo. No! Romeo! No! Nikki J says, who wrote this lawsuit? Landau. Actually, a guy named Raul Severo, who has only been disbarred 4 times. Clever Duck, real push-ups. Real push-ups. But it's an embarrassingly small amount right now. Catastrophe says, who hasn't tripped and fell and sexted a minor? Also says, hey, Nick Frittata, I'm in Cali. What crime should I commit to get you to represent me here in the Democratic People's Republic of California? None. Don't do it. Don't do any crimes. Angry Baneling says, please no Risk of Rain 2. Think of my eyes. Your eyes need more Risk of Rain. Skaki Onsai says, rip Palmdale, California. Okay. Izzy Hailson says, that moment when you realize Chaz is ruled by a homophobic failed artist and his armed minions. I Hate Yankee says, new autonomous zones are going up in Portland, Oregon and Asheville, North Carolina. The show is only just beginning. Zetrock says, when you get a chance, watch Father's Day with Drex. Andrew War Snowboard says, I have to retain Carrie Christie to watch on Twitch. Yes, you do. You do. Okay. Jeff the Gamer says, $2 to celebrate buying my first grill. Hey, good job, buddy. Also, protests happening in the small town I live in. And that ski is being purchased for you now. I hope you enjoy the soda from the place I was born. Send it to your P.O. box in the video description, right? Yes, that's where it goes. That'd be great. Bad Vibe says, Rekieta Law, what did you think about the GoFundMe started by Rocky Hints for the guy that got stoned and turned into ketchup by a Civil War statue? It's at like 40 grand already. So I guess I hope the... Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Hope the family gets the money or whatever. I mean, it is sad. It's also hilarious. He's just trying to get people out of the way. Don't. Just leave. Just leave. But he wasn't just trying to get people out of the way, was he? Right? He was participating. Not like he was a safety officer or something. At least in my opinion. Maybe he was. I don't know. But it kind of looks like it. Oh. I meant to talk about these things. I'm going to do it on the next show. Because my brain is on fire. New stuff in the Ahmaud Arbery case. Roddy, the guy who was filming, has apparently said that he heard the McMichaels. Trent, I think the guy who did the shooting, heard him say, you effing N-word after shooting. That will play a part. That will play a big part in the case. If that's true that he said that. That came about after Roddy was charged. But allegedly the statement was made before Roddy was charged. They've all gotten permission from the judge to proceed on all the charges. They have probable cause to bring all of the charges. So those against the McMichaels and against Roddy. So that could be a factor in their case. If they can establish reasonably that he was making that racial epithet after shooting him, it doesn't necessarily point to, oh, he shot him because he was racist or because he wanted to do something, but it does. It is circumstantial evidence of some sort of animus related to his skin color, and it could factor into the case. Should it factor into the case? That's a different question. Then will it factor in the case? Yes. So, because and when if people are confused about why I say should it, it's something that happened after the alleged incident, right? Like after the crime, then a statement was made that doesn't speak to the state of mind prior to what happened. It gives an indication, but it's not definitive. So he could just be, for example, mad that the guy attacked him. But using a racial slur after shooting someone of a different race is a bad plan, not legally advisable. But we'll see how that develops. And then in the Floyd case, they're now talking more and more that not only did Derek Chauvin know George Floyd, but that Derek Chauvin and George Floyd had a personal history against each other. And the more that comes up, the more that is corroborated, the more likely an intentional murder charge is for Derek Chauvin. So we'll be following that. I had a dumb plan to cover those a little bit more as we went through today, but again, scatterbrained, exhausted, and I just need to get some food and chill out on Twitch. So we'll do that on the next stream or something, maybe some short videos. We'll see as those things develop. But that's what is going on in those cases right now when we're watching them. Catastrophe says, since no one asked, how are you doing today? I'm great, just tired. Mugen1 says, Patreon sent Owen Benjamin an email containing the account info of another creator's patrons who they were in the process of banning. Head slap. I know exactly what creator they sent to. I know exactly who that was. I can't disclose who that was, but I do know who it was, and it's a really crazy sort of thing. And then Talons here says, miss you, Nick. Ever since COVID, I turned into an essential employee at Home Depot and learned how to hate people at the expense of watching your show. I got a promotion, though. Have some monies. Hey, thank you, Talons here. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're doing well. All right, guys. I will talk to you soon. Let's get some... Let's do some good old outro playing, right? Do some outro music. Oh, man. It's going to be echoey, so I'm going to mute myself. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Peace. Peace.
He drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an odd bag of Balmore and Lafroig. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all planet folks, from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now.